Okay, we'll call the meeting back to order. There was no decisions made in executive session. Okay, we'll go.
Airport agreement. Robert called, wanted to know what was going on with that. And I've received no calls on snow removal. I did talk to Dave Fleming the other day. He had talked to J.R. Landenberger because the city has two state trucks, old state trucks that they use. One they use to clear streets, the other one they use to haul snow. They're working on an agreement to use one of those trucks to remove the snow off the runway.
Do those float?
It's the same as what they use on the highway.
Because I told them we could use a blade, and they said they don't float. Well, Robert isn't going to do it, so we got to just tell him we'll probably accept his proposal.
Yeah.
Of so many dollars off of what he's getting, and we're going to make it work somehow.
Okay.
What else to do?
Have an
We
agreement.
haven't had any, I think after we have our interview today, we'll have a little better feel if we're going to have somebody maybe want to do it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Is that,
Yeah.
Yeah, can we let him know after today?
Yeah, I'll let him know.
yeah, well,
Well, I think he wants the agreement signed because I think today was the deadline.
Do you have that? I do not have a copy.
Yeah, I'll run downstairs and get that.
there was a percentage of dollars a month he was going to
Take
Right.
off.
take off.
Do we need it to say in there about us using one of the hangars? We had discussed that.
I think it has to, yeah.
Or do we want to just leave it like it is for now?
That one hanger's going to have a lot of work before we can use it.
Yeah.
It's got a dirt floor. The doors are not the right kind of doors so that people can get open and close very easy. They're a sliding door. They're going to have overhead doors, and that's going to take a lot of work. I think it can be done, but it's cheaper than putting a building up.
Yeah.
So, do you think you want to just leave it the way it is for now then?
I think so.
Okay.
I mean, I think down the road we've got to do something hanger-wise, and I think Robert's going to be doing something down the road too.
Yeah.
Okay, well then.
We probably do we need a motion to approve it then?
She's gonna get a copy.
Okay. I'm looking to see if I've got it, Willie.
Have they started the flooring yet?
Delay in delivery. December.
Imagine that.
But I see we got some of the stuff done in the, anyway, I saw a check go through for the,
Millinger?
That's completed. And he did do some extra work, ran a separate circuit over there into that area, electrical, and, he didn't charge us anymore for that, so. Thought that pretty nice of him.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna run use the bathroom while we're waiting for her.
So I take it you're new here to town then? You're new here in town?
About a year and a half, I guess.
Year and a half?
Yeah, not too often. Ken Ferris, sorry.
Ken's a kind of a regular at Majestic at coffee shop.
Oh, okay.
Getting that way.
Too far for me to make it down there, but,
Bird City surely has one.
well, they got the one that's 4 days a week, but
Well, we've taught him a lot in the last few weeks.
And he's still here.
Yeah, I'm getting an education.
Now you have to go, or they'll talk about it.
Tell me how many's gonna be there when. So it's like a crapshoot on Saturday night, so I cook all of this food and then
Yep.
it'll scatter. Okay, here's the agreement.
Did we already make a motion?
yeah, pretty, just wait for him.
I've looked at it.
You need a motion to approve that.
Yeah, I mean, what it does is it changes the date to effective today, going through the 14th of next year. And then in regards to the compensation, it's dropped to, I think, 420. Look here. No, sorry, $450 a month. It used to be like $525.
Yeah.
And he dropped that to $420 a month. And the rest of it is all the same except that the snow removal is gone. So they'll still do the mowing and the maintenance and notifications and all of that. It's just the snow removal. And
These would take off $125 a month for the snow removal.
right, for 12 months.
I make a motion, we approve the airport operator agreement for 2022.
I second it.
And first and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay.
All right, and I contacted K Camp about the shingles at the airport, or not the CCV buildings. They told me to submit the proposal, and the only one that, Weathercraft is the only one that responded back to that. I submitted it, and then he sent back, that's what we're gonna do, is $122,000 for the shingles, and then once it's done, there's another $40,000 they'll send us.
40,000 of what?
Is that the recoverable depreciation?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, once, well, you have to replace them before you get that other 40,000.
Okay.
But you will get that extra 40.
Once they're done.
I think they should cover the whole bid. I remember last time, don't you?
And that doesn't count gutters and what have you, right? That's a totally
Yeah,
different
the gutters
thing.
and everything are on there.
No, did we say
What
that?
happens if the gutters aren't replaced?
And they probably won't pay as much.
Yeah. It's a consensus of our board that not to go with that malarkey because the 30-year, what they call a 30-year asphalt is not guaranteed for 30. And if you, it would have saved this, well, no, those are, the malarkeys probably would have saved this. But the people I've checked with since their last meeting, if you have a hailstorm of like tennis ball size, the malarkey's probably not going to handle that. And so it's our consensus that it's not worth going with those malarkey 50s.
And I kind of agree. My house, I just put 30-year, same year and everything. I put 30-year shingles on. Someone 2 blocks away put the impact resistant. This last hailstorm, their roof was totaled. Mine was fine.
Wow.
So I think it's just a gimmick to get you to pay more money.
So our recommendation would be do the 30-year heritage and just do the slopes that K-Camp wanted done. They'll match them. And then whatever you think on the downspout.
Was the downspout to 18,752?
$26,272.
Okay.
And I think it's just a waste of resources.
Well, that was my thoughts.
So,
And then he started to throw in about depreciation and all that, and I thought, yeah, no, wait a minute.
so
Just to replace what K-Camp says, it's $130,283 for shingles.
Well, I got 154,481.
That's with the
Is it?
impact
That's
So
resistant.
that's the impact.
yeah.
I got too many figures running around here. I've lost them.
I'm not
So that
doing much better.
130,000 would include the fascia and the downspouts. It doesn't.
No.
I don't see that listed separate on mine. Oh, yeah, it's 26,000.
Yeah, it's down at the bottom.
Yeah, that's it.
If you replaced all the fascia, gutters, downspouts, I mean, you're looking at $157,000.
I mean, our consensus is we don't want any out-of-pocket costs coming from the county.
And essentially we wouldn't then, right, Scott?
Anything extra would come over that 122,000 would come out of capital improvement. When we get the work done, we would get that money
About
back from
4,000.
K-Camp, and we could put it back into capital improvement.
Okay.
So we don't want any additional cost to the county. That's our thinking.
We'd get 6,000 back, give or take, correct? Once we got the recoverable depreciation,
Right.
we'd be
I mean,
6,000 ahead.
You're getting 122,000, then when the work's done, there's up to another 40,000.
Oh, up to the, okay.
Which would be 162,000. So if the shingles and the downspouts, 156,000.
Okay.
I haven't seen the downspouts and all that. They don't really need it.
We don't feel like it. Rogers looked at them, and so
At 40 mile an hour, you can't see a thing.
especially,
How would you know? You don't drive.
It's like, wow, you breaking a land speed record?
especially if you're pulling in and out, okay, store.
Okay, so they look good at slow speeds.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, I doubt there's.
I don't know what kind of motion you need made.
Well, you just wanna,
The 30-year on the slopes that Cape County recommended.
30-year shingles on the, to remove and replace shingles on the insurance document, per the insurance document.
I so move.
I second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, okay.
Thank you. Now, Scott's mentioned this a year or two ago about the county van. The village would like to express an interest in that. I don't know when that will be replaced or what the story is.
We've got to start the process. It's going to be 2 years. I think it's a
Okay.
2-year process to,
But we would,
because we're getting miles up there and they don't want us over 100,000 on the van.
Which for how they would use it would work good.
Yeah.
so we want to try, we want to keep that on the table. So
Yeah, because yours is getting pretty old too, right?
it's getting old, it doesn't have a lot of miles, but
Right.
the mileage should be about equal, but ours are getting old.
Well, if we can keep it within the county, I think it's a good deal.
I do too.
Save everybody a little money somehow.
Yeah.
Because I believe, and I talked to Eddie about this, when we get a new one, that one is ours to dispose of. So.
Oh, that sounds better, yeah. Keep the tires good.
Doesn't say we have to give it away, it just says we can dispose of it however we want.
I'm the drawings in, we're waiting. Yeah. Yeah, he's on the bench.
Okay, I think that's everything. I'll get Brian in here.
Well, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How are you? Good to see you. Hey, I'm Brett.
Jeremy McGuire.
Nice to meet you.
Jeremy McGuire.
Jeremy, brother,
Jeremy McGuire.
Ryan, how are you?
Good to see you.
Just quick introductions. This is Jeremy McGuire. He's with Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Okay.
Going over a few things and being able to answer any questions on the actual Blue Cross plan if needed. So just a quick introduction there.
Gotcha.
There you go, Scott. And, oh, thank you. Yeah, I didn't get an extra one for you. No, I'm sorry about that.
You're good. You're good.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks.
You're welcome. We're gonna overload you with paperwork today.
All right. I can't believe it's been a year. I mean, and time just like, it goes by just so fast.
sit over here and see how fast it goes.
Is that right? Well,
Is it like anything? Sometimes the days seem like they go on forever, and then the next thing you know, you blink an eye and
Kind of like the way he drives.
What's wrong with the way I drive?
I think I recall a driving comment last time during the review.
So
should we
we
wait?
need to go on a ride with you then, Roger? Is that what I'm-
He's
I'll
really
tell you what,
safe.
you can see a lot of country riding with me. Things you never see at 70, you'll see at 30. They say it's slower than 30.
I love it.
You gotta enjoy it a little bit, right?
Should we wait for Scott to come back?
Absolutely, I think.
We've got that way for 50-some years. And the other day I was coming down, I didn't know I could see the Wheeler elevators from out there.
It's all a matter of perspective, yeah. Just a little bit of different perspective.
I can't believe that.
Good
Thank you
day.
for coming.
It's a clear day.
I have to let you ride with Gerald Wright.
Oh, Lord, I used to meet Gerald every morning.
He was out in our area. I slowed him up a couple of times.
Okay, we're ready now.
Oh, fantastic. Awesome. We're just, compared to our renewal last year, we're just going to do things just slightly different. I'm going to just kind of give kind of a quick summary of kind of what the renewal numbers are looking like, show a quick comparison to kind of what you might say the industry is, or the industry standard, some of the other numbers that we're seeing out there. Also compared to kind of a cookie cutter plan, knowing that our plan is a little bit different than just if we were to go out on the street and buy a plan. That's what it would be. And then after I kind of get done with that explanation, Jeremy's going to go into a little bit more more information on what's behind the numbers on our renewal. Just kind of explaining kind of how some of those numbers were, how we arrived at those numbers. So, in just kind of getting started, this is kind of our template that we've seen numerous times. Let's go ahead and kind of take a look up at the very top row there. You'll see kind of what our current plan is. Column number 2 is going to be the renewal. Based on all the parameters that we have as far as deductibles and so forth. None of that has changed. Blue Cross has stayed the same. But we are coming in at 11.73% renewal increase. Jeremy's going to go into obviously more detail on those numbers. And then so the question always is, if that's our renewal numbers, what are we seeing as far as, what other, if you want to call it industry numbers, as far as maybe perhaps other counties and that type of thing. We threw in a United Healthcare quote there as well. That's in column number 3, coming in, if you can see the number there, bottom 31%. It's just kind of a comparison to show that we might be experiencing 11% increase on the renewal, but definitely if we start looking at other numbers, they're much higher. And in the third column, kind of hanging out to its right out there, still on row number 1, absolutely. That's what we call just a cookie cutter plan. That's if we just went out, we didn't have the Freedom Choice plan and all the benefits that go along with that. That's what we'd see buying that very similar plan. So I just wanted to kind of highlight what those numbers are. As far as, and then down below, I can go into this a little bit more detail perhaps after Jeremy goes into his piece. That goes into some of our Freedom Choice numbers, kind of where we are with 2021 and so forth. But where we want to kind of highlight right now is I'm going to pass it over to Jeremy, and he's going to go into a little bit more description on that 11.73% renewal increase.
All right, and Scott, I got a folder there on your right side. And if you go to tab 1 on yours, that's where this information is going to be. I didn't figure you guys wanted all the administrative stuff that is included in that folder for this. So, like Brian said, we're looking at 11.73% on the increase for your group. And I just want to go briefly into just where those numbers came from and how we arrived at that. So there on the right side also, I want you, there's a piece called a group utilization report, and it looks like this. You went Brett, you went one too far.
Okay, that's right. They're stuck together.
Okay, it's right before that one, actually.
There you go, right there.
Let's see, it's one right here.
Right.
Sorry. It's right here.
There we go. Okay. And so we based this off of the 41 contracts that we had at the time we ran the renewal. And then if you look on line 2, it's experience period. So we do a 12-month experience period, and the experience period we reviewed is 9/1 of 2020 through 8/31 of 2021. For the renewal period, which is January 1, 2022 to December 31st of 2022. On line 3, there are 4 factors that are included. We have Blue Cross, which is your hospital, which kind of the brick and mortar. Blue Shield, which is your medical, which is your professional side, your doctors, the staff, things like that. You guys don't have dental so that doesn't matter for us. And then the last one is the drug. So if you look at admin expense, we get so short-term and acronym happy in the insurance world, so I'll try. So administration expense that is listed under there, that is the cost it is to administer claims, that section right there. So, and then estimated IBNR is incurred but not reported. So you have what we call run out. So you might come to the end of this experience period of 8/31, and you're going to have claims that occurred in that time frame that haven't been administered yet or haven't been sent out, whatever it might be. So we have an estimated IBNR. It's always higher for the hospital, for the Blue Cross. The Blue Shield, the medical professionals are a little bit closer, and the prescription drug is usually pretty quick, so that IBNR is a lot lower on that. And then we also figure in annual trends, or you could translate that as inflation for each of those as well. So when you look at the right side of that line 3, I'm going to go to the far right, and it's a credibility factor, and you see a 30 over there for your credibility factor. That means you're 30% credible, and that's based off of your group size. So your group size lends to that credibility factor. So what that means is 30% of your premiums are based off of your claims, your experience. The other 70% is based off of our book of business with the trended. So, and when you have a really good year for claims, you're thinking, man, I wish we would have been a little bit more creditable, because it would have helped us out a little bit. If you have a really cruddy year, you're like, I'm glad we're only 30% creditable. And the reason they base it off of group size is the fact that if you have, with a smaller group, if you have one huge claim, it could send you on your ears pretty quick. We had a group this year that had a COVID claim that was almost $3 million. And so a claim like that, if you guys were more creditable, or a group that size was more creditable, the increase would be astronomical, just based off of that. So with that being said, I want to take you down to line 7, where we can look at the loss ratio. With all those factors we had included, your loss ratio is 125.37%, which means that the claims expense exceeded the premiums that were taken in by 25.37%. And so all that winds down. We talked about the credibility. I want to take you down to number 10 in line I, where it goes final monthly premium. You see that number? And then if you look at line J, final monthly premium and large claims. So what that means is we have a large claims consideration. So if you have a claim that is above a certain dollar amount threshold, there's consideration on that to relieve your premiums. So you also have a sheet that is a claims in excess of $25,000, and that is also on that right side. It looks like this. One more page there, Roger, and we'll be right on top of it. There you go, right there, Brett. That's this one.
It's this one, right?
And I know it's a lot of paperwork, and I apologize, but I wanted to just give you explanation. So if you see this sheet right here, you can see your group had 7 claims in excess of $25,000. And that is based upon the payment the payment portion of that. So that third column on that. So you see 5 columns. You see insured, which is 1 through 7. We don't identify by name for PHI. Insured status, which shows active. If they were no longer on the plan, it would say termed. And then you see the payment. That is the payment portion that Blue Cross paid towards the plan. And then you see 2 more columns, allowed charges and billed charges. So the billed charges is what the facilities charge, billed. And then the allowed charges, that the difference between those two is the contracting write-off.
Provided write-off, yeah.
With Blue Cross Blue Shield. So if you look at number 7, a pretty big claim, but you also look at the billed charges compared to the allowed charges, and that's a difference of $235, almost $236,000 in contracting write-offs. And then the difference between the allowed charges and the payment, that's the amount that the members paid towards that claim. So number 7 was a large claims consideration because of that amount. It was 100. The threshold for that for your group size is $155,000. So it went over that, and so therefore there was consideration, large claims consideration for that amount. Okay, and I will go over just one more piece on this, and this is the patient expense summary report. Okay, looks like this right there, and what that one does and so it just is a breakdown of where your claims came from, like what portion. And not surprisingly, if you look all the way at the top, drugs are where the majority of the claims came from. It's the number 1, and and that's not surprising to see it that way. Drugs are usually top 3. Sometimes they might slip down to 4 if there's a major medical type of thing that happened. But just if you have and I hate to say it, a run-of-the-mill year. Then drugs are usually right up there. And then, second place is the 5C, which is outpatient facility surgical. And then you can see, I won't bore you by going through each of those line by line, but just wanted to give you an idea of where those things are at. Okay? And then I will say one more thing and I'll be done with my piece. On the right side is actually, I think it's on the left side, right side. I'm getting you all confused. The left side, you have your advanced life renewal. There are no changes on your advanced life renewal. The rates are exactly the same, no change in benefits, and it's got no additional paperwork to be done on that, just payment of premiums, acceptance of the renewal. I know I said a lot there, and I kind of, micro machine guided through it to get through it, but does anybody have any questions on this thing?
Basically, it's going up 11% because we had some new claims.
Yes. Yep.
I'm kind of surprised it's not more.
Yeah. I mean,
We've had a bad year.
Yeah. And, and then that happens. That happens, and that, we think of it, I think anybody would say, we buy insurance, whether it's our health insurance or property casualty insurance or whatever insurance we buy it, and we hope we don't have to use it. I mean, I hope I don't have to use mine. But in reality, we know sometimes it happens, and, I think there's not a one of us that would be thankful to have it when something bad happens. So, that being said, I will turn it back over.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, fantastic. If we want to kind of go back to the Freedom Claims renewal report. Yeah. Just kind of finishing up on this first page, the one that's in yellow. It has just to kind of reiterate, the top portion is kind of the renewal numbers. It kind of goes over some comparisons with some, obviously cookie cutter plans and so forth. Jeremy did a fantastic job kind of highlighting where that 11.73% came from. The 3 bars down below, that's actually, if you take the high deductible plan, Blue Cross Blue Shield plan, and then we add it to the Freedom Choice plan, that's what those numbers down there represent. There's always kind of 2 numbers on this chart that I like to kind of highlight. It's column number 2 on the bottom row. That's based on kind of what we had projected and kind of where we came in at, 10.48% above what we came in at. So a lot of those numbers kind of match up very closely what Jeremy had just kind of explained. We saw that kind of being projected onto the Freedom Choice numbers as well. Column number 3 kind of goes on to show if we add back in the reserves, as you know, your bank account, your reserves, we were 10.88% below what we had initially projected. So overall numbers still good, and that just kind of highlights the Freedom Choice numbers. Do you want me to go into any more detail on this as far as kind of where those numbers came from, or it's something that we highlight as far as the quarterly reviews, and they've been tracking along pretty similarly throughout the year, kind of seeing a little increase than projected. If I went back to old quarterlies, we were seeing those numbers just a little bit more elevated. Is there any questions on that renewal page?
Not for me, no.
No.
Okay, fantastic. Okay. Anything, Roger?
All right, so what percentage are you going up?
So what we're saying with same plan, same everything, we're going to go up 11.73%. And that's just on the high deductible plan portion. Bless you. That's the top row, middle number, top row.
But that's the whole plan then? Blue Cross Blue Shield and Freedom Choice?
Yes, and then we add that piece back into it, right.
So we're looking at 11.7%.
That's correct.
That's going to be about 70, isn't it? 60,000.
How much?
I think it's going to be about 60,000. Is that right?
Right. Any questions? Okay. A lot of the stuff kind of behind is just very similar, spreadsheets and so forth that we've seen before. This one just goes through monthly claims. There's a couple rows in here, just the monthly medical claims, and then kind of your bank balance, kind of reflecting that. And you can see kind of an increase and a decrease. Obviously, some of those are directly proportional to some of the claims that were. You can see some of the higher months compared to some of the lower months. The bank balance on the right-hand side just kind of gives you an overall number on kind of where we stand with those. Any questions on the bank balance portion or the monthly claims?
When we reach that bank balance, then it's extra then?
Yeah, so that bank balance is yours. So that's what you guys have in your account. If you were to, and I can absolutely go into more numbers, if you wanted to flip back. Yeah, so that money's yours. There's what we call like a max liability number. It's on the very first page. It's like $261,000. Just real quick, what that basically means is if every single person maxed out everything, it would be $261,000. So we're sitting at $104,000 in there right now, and we're always trying to be above 50% for kind of our funding level, about 50%. So we keep the normal funding levels kind of where we are, and then we'll be over that 50%. Okay. But that's what that bank balance is. It's your reserves. It is. It is. Okay. Number 2. I'm sorry. The next report here is your aggregate stop loss report. This is your dental. This is, as Jeremy pointed out, this is not something we do under Blue Cross Blue Shield. There's really just 2 numbers on here, and I always like to kind of highlight. In the upper right-hand corner it talks about your stop-loss factors where it says single family and employee dependent. Can you guys see that? The single is $15.99, and then below it's $59.71. Do you see that? Roger, you see that as well? So that's what we had kind of built in. That was projected for 2021. If you go down to the lower left-hand side where it says average net claims paid to date, and there's some numbers underneath that where it says single at 1606. Can you see that? That's basically where we were coming in at, okay? So projected versus actual. So we're doing actually quite well in that, pretty close to what we had projected. So dental is running pretty much what we had anticipated. So those are two numbers. Obviously, there's way more in here as far as data. If you wanted to have a hard time sleeping at night, you can go over the aggregate dental report. But that's just a nice, if you want to kind of look at a comparison, what was projected and kind of where we came in at for dental. So dental's pretty static. It's pretty much the same. Any questions on dental? Okay. These next set of reports are this is just, I always like to kind of say just basic background information. These reports are broken down on top benefits, okay? And you're going to look through this and you're going to say, why do we have all these different top benefits, medical, then there's a top benefits medical. It depends on how those claims were paid. If they're paid, for example, page number 1, if you guys can see that, it says the non-PPO plan. So those are benefits that were utilized not within the plan. So just we have to break it down by each category. So then the next page, more lengthy one, that's under the PPO plan. If you did them all in aggregate and didn't really care where they were broken out, we could for sure do that. But we want people to know kind of where that utilization is. So each one of them is broken down. The first 4 are all medical, broken down different things, PPO plan. The very last one is your dental. So there's 5 pages here. All of them are top benefits, okay? So it gets in page number 5 is dental. So 1 through 4 are medical, and then page number 5 is dental. Some people like to know kind of what's being paid by the plan, what type of benefits are being utilized, and so forth. So if the first 5 pages are top benefits by location and plan, the next 5 pages are going to be top providers by location and plan. And it breaks those down very similarly. So people like to say under the non-PPO plan, where are employees going? What are they utilizing? What providers are they utilizing and where? So that would also correspond to the previous ones, which was top benefits by location and plan. So once again, it gives you a nice little look. It looks like Cheyenne County Hospital is being well utilized, number of claims, number 2. Obviously, the prescription side of it is, as far as top provider, Servue dealing with prescriptions. As Jeremy even pointed out, that's always in the top few for sure. So this just gives kind of an overall, maybe say a snapshot, kind of where your employees are going. What type of benefits are they utilizing? Is it non-PPO? Is it PPO? Broke it down just a little bit more detail, so you understand kind of how that's being distributed. Is there any questions on kind of the background, the data? Have you heard any issues, Scott, as far as utilization and different medical practices, the 2-card system? Any issues with that aside from
just the normal 2-card? I mean, it's getting less complaints about them.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just getting people talked into, you need both cards.
The concept, yeah, for sure.
Well, it would be nice if they could code in freedom claims, because whenever I have to follow up on a bill, they'll be like, well, this was put in as other, and we have to manually enter it. And so they aren't doing that when the two cards are provided, so you have to call them and say, you were provided the two cards, oh, it was coded as an other, we'll send it through again.
Sure. Yeah. You mean the practices themselves? Okay.
Yeah.
And just always feel free, if you need Julie's office, Freedom Claims, help in kind of streamlining that process, they're more than welcome to, or willing, not welcome, but willing to help with that. Okay, so that goes through top benefits, top providers. Once again, just giving kind of a nice little snapshot on things. And then we get into the ServU. This is going to be the pharmaceutical side. Once again, lots of fun data to observe there, as far as lots of kind of background data and information to go along with it. I always like to point out one particular thing on this page right here. It shows some pie graphs. You guys can see the pie graphs. This is one we always want to track. It's the pie graph on the left, and it shows our utilization generic versus name brand. And we're at 90% generic. And generally 90% and above, talk to Julie's office and just kind of the industry as a whole, that's actually really good. So 90 and above. We want to make sure we're maximizing that number as much as possible to lower our overall costs, for sure. So as long as we're 90 and above, that's good utilization for generics. So like I said, there's lots of more additional information and charts and various things that, light reading late at night, you can kind of take a look at. But that's just one, that pie chart right there is one that I think is worth kind of bringing out. That means we're doing good. So just to be on the stable side, we're doing good on our generic usage. Dental is pretty much tracking exactly as we have been kind of all year, and as projected when we kicked off 2021. And then as far as on the medical side, we've gone into a great discussion as far as what the renewal increase is going to be and kind of the numbers behind it. A lot of it based on claims that kind of drove those numbers. Okay, and then of course last we always like to include kind of what your plan looks like and kind of what all that includes and entails. We'll just throw that in there as well.
I do understand pie.
The only ones I understand are at
Eat the
Thanksgiving.
whole pie, you know.
That's just pie.
Leave
Nobody
a
else
piece-
gets
we would
it. That
leave a
means I
piece
get
in the middle
one.
of the pie.
Yeah, those aren't the most exciting charts, are they?
No.
Pie charts. Yeah. So, is there anything you would like me to expand on, to go into more detail?
Not for me, no.
Brett, anything from you?
No, I just.
Roger?
So has the COVID been the reason for a lot of increases?
Sometimes yes. I mean, Blue Cross covered for our fully insured book of business, even now through the end of December, or when the public health pandemic is declared over, whichever comes first. I think the end of December will come first, but I'm not a prognosticator. But Blue Cross has covered 100% of the medically necessary testing and all COVID-19 treatment at 100%. And so, yeah, that has driven up claims a little bit. It's tough to get a full view of how it's been until we get clear of this and we can see a year after COVID to see how it settles in. But it's been a fairly significant amount. And it's been tough on everybody, and we know that it's been a booger on people. I have a good friend that has found out he's out of sick leave and has COVID, and he's got 2 weeks, got a new baby at home and stuff like that. And Yeah, I think of folks like that, and I'm just like, I could say some things about COVID, but I'm not gonna say, I'll keep it clean. But, you know, and it's been tough on everybody, and yes, it has affected claims. Now, there's been some things, you know, like, you know, some services that people maybe weren't 100% necessary at the time that put off, so it's counterbalanced a few things. They're like, you know, yeah, I kind of probably do need that knee replaced, but not right now.
Right.
Type of scenario. So I think we'll see some of those. So I don't know if we'll see much of a shift once COVID is officially over. So, but again,
For us though, we haven't had very much COVID.
I'm fine.
Good.
I just expect to always get more money when I sit over here, so there you go. Thank you. No, I don't.
Sure, thank you for that.
Yeah. I don't know, you know, where we want to take it from here as far as the renewal, approval of the renewal, or?
Do you guys want to make a motion to approve the
Yeah.
renewal?
I'm good with it. Make a motion that we approve the insurance plan.
Second.
It's been first and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
Outstanding.
thank you.
Scott, should I get in touch with you as far as scheduling some employee meetings in December? That'd be okay? Okay, fantastic. Well, thank you so much for your time. It's been
yes.
just wonderful doing business with you guys and getting to see you guys, so I sure appreciate it.
Thank you for coming out.
Yeah, you guys let us know if we can.
Where are you from?
I'm from Hayes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I do some contracting work with Smoky Hills PBS, and so I do some sports play-by-play. So I've seen your Indians the last few years in the state. So not this year though.
No. Off here.
Well, when you lose some of the kids that you guys lost off of last year,
He's from Smith Center originally.
yeah, I grew up in don't pull that against me.
Oh, yeah, so.
But hey, we gave you a head coach for quite a while, right? Tim Lambert?
Yeah.
I still remember that game, the playoff game, when you guys were still 11 man. What was it, 8-6? Something. That was a heck of it. I remember we ran because we always ran off, just like you got off left tackle first play every time.
Yeah.
And this time the quarterback kept it. The old coach got his protege. So
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming out. Good seeing you.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Good seeing you.
You too.
Roger.